Hello, good evening. First tonight, a Royal Marine from 40 Commando has been killed in Afghanistan. He died after an explosion in Helmand province yesterday. Forces News reporter James Hurst joins us from Camp Bastion. James, what more can you tell us about what happened?
Well, it was on Sunday morning close to, in Sangin, that this member of 40 Commando died. We are told that he was on a foot patrol in support of an Afghan National Army operation at the time. It was close to patrol base Blenheim. His next of kin have been told, though his name hasn't yet been formally released by the Ministry of Defence. There has, though, already been a tribute by the spokesman for Task Force Helmand, Lieutenant Colonel James Carr-Smith, who said that this Royal Marine died in the course of his duty, seeking to provide reassurance and security to the local nationals in Sangin. He goes on to say he will be sorely missed and his sacrifice will not be forgotten.
Well, also this weekend, I gather Camp Bastion played host to the Estonian Prime Minister. Why was he there?
Well, he was in Afghanistan for a 3-day visit that began on Friday. A lot of high-level military and political meetings. But he came to Camp Bastion specifically to meet Estonian troops who serve very closely alongside their British counterparts here in Helmand province. And in the course of that visit to Camp Bastion, the Prime Minister told me that there are no caveats to Estonian participation in ISAF. Andrus Ansip arrived at Camp Bastion to be greeted by the commanders of the joint operating base and the airfield. This visit by the Estonian Prime Minister coincides with the country's RIP, meaning his troops' numbers inside Camp Bastion are currently swelled. Estonia's contribution to ISAF is around 150 troops. When compared to the country's population, that makes it one of the largest contributions of NATO, and the Prime Minister is now here to meet some of those troops. Inside, he addressed a mass meeting of Estonian soldiers and took their questions.
The message was that he's very thankful, and the whole Estonian country is actually very thankful for our commitment in here. And he also talked about the situation back in Estonia, the economical situation.
Prime Minister Ansip also spent time watching counter-IED training for his forces and trying it for himself. It gave him a chance for some more informal conversations.
Estonian soldiers, they just said to me that to serve together with British soldiers, it's highlighting their military career.
The Estonian Prime Minister was joined by the second in command of his country's armed forces. Their visit at a time of growing talk that NATO troops could be moved from their current locations as the American surge builds. So, would he be happy for his troops to move from Helmand?
Estonian soldiers, they acted together with our allies, and there are no caveats for using of Estonian military forces here in Afghanistan.
It did seem a remarkably informal visit for a senior NATO politician, but one that was still seen as important by Camp Bastion.
It's important that we are able to show that his troops are in a good, well-found base, that we work very closely together with the Estonians, and that we value their contribution.
After Camp Bastion, next stop for the Estonian Prime Minister was Kabul to meet senior Afghan politicians and NATO Commander General Stanley McChrystal. James Hurst, Forces News, Camp Bastion.